beautiful morning to you. We're going to start this movement sequence by just finding a nice and comfortable place to stand, feet hip width apart, just connecting to ourselves, to that floor below us. And we're going to start this by just taking a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, or out through the nose. And whenever you're ready, we're going to start shifting our weight side to side. I want you to think about leaning into the ankle, letting the foot really firm into the ground, just really feeling as if your feet were your hands for just a few minutes. Remember to keep nice and relaxed here. This is just so we connect to the earth below us and just that space that we're taking for ourselves right now. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to take a nice hip width stance apart, and we're going to warm up these shoulders by doing some nice shoulder circles. I want you to really make these big, really feel those neck muscles, the traps working just to pull ourselves open. Our chest likes to fall over and be a little bit tight, so let's just do the reverse motion. Throw the gears into reverse for just a little bit. Wonderful. Just let your hands and your arms hang loose. No need to hold. Make sure that your arms are nice and relaxed. And when you're ready, we're going to reach out to the sides, opening our chest as wide as we can. And we're going to go into these side reaches. Really connect. We're going to reach out to the side at the same time. The other arm is going to come scooping inwards as if there's a basket of apples at the chest level, and then we're reaching one and grabbing one and taking to the sides as if there's a friend of ours who we're going to give a nice and sweet apple. Don't give your friends poisoned apple, please. And remember your stance, your knees are slightly bent, nice and connected to the floor. Spine is nice and neutral. This is really just about connecting our whole arm, the elbow, the shoulders, to our torso and spine. And talking about the spine, we're going to go into these spinal waves next. So I'm really just going to focus on what it would feel like to me to really go into this wave in motion. Imagine that there's a wall in front of you and I'm touching it with my head, my chin, my chest, and rolling my whole abdomen down until my hips get there and my knees, at which point I then start the motion again. These can be a bit weird, feel a bit weird, look a bit weird at the start, but such a good way to connect to the whole body. Sometimes just doing a few of these lets you feel more open than just stretching sometimes. So no way that I was gonna keep that just for myself. And then we're gonna switch the motion, do the other side. Here I'm doing these from the lower body, rolling up, almost like body rolls, except that we're doing it in the name of feeling good here. Hands are nice and loose here, really just opening up the chest. And when you're ready, we're going to take the same principle into the side motion, into the side lateral plane. So this is almost like a snake. This is like a very, trying to make that S curve with your body. Imagine what it would feel like to be that reptilian motion, really. I like to really almost disconnect my hips. It's kind of a very little experience with belly dancing, but what I imagine that looseness of the hips would feel like. And yeah, so just take it nice and slow here. This can be very intense. You know, any physical trauma, emotional trauma, we tend to get rigid and it kind of stores around the spine. So those moves are really just with the intention of loosening up. So now I want you to connect to your head area. And we're going to start drawing these big circles. Imagine that there's almost like a halo around your chin area, and I really want you to focus on just tracing that. My whole body stays neutral except that chin area. I'm drawing it back, tucking it in, almost trying to get to the back of my neck and my throat, and then doing the opposite in a circular motion. Imagine that you're trying to paint the biggest circle possible without getting too much movement from your upper body and your shoulders, for example. And when you're ready, go ahead and switch sides and do the other side. We usually move our neck in all kinds of ways, but This is kind of an unusual way to do it, but it has so much benefits for me. So again, I'm just trying to share that with you. But take these nice and slowly. Make sure your mouth is closed. Make sure your breathing is steady through the nose. And when you're ready, we're going to connect the same principle one level down, one floor down to the chest area, drawing chest and solar plexus, really drawing these big circles of the thoracic area of our spine. Again, I'm trying to keep the rest of my body pretty still. A little bit of movement is absolutely natural, but I'm just trying to imagine that there's this ball of focus inside my chest. If you want to, you can get your hands there and just use that to draw out that ball in that big circle. And whenever we're ready, we're going to switch side here, do the same thing again. With a little bit of x-ray vision, we can imagine just our skeleton, our spine really just loosening up around all of that space, disconnecting the hip from the upper body and just really reaching out forwards, and then on the way back where we fold inwards, getting towards the back area. And then we're going to take the same principle one floor down again to the neighbor, the hip. So these are really wonderful. These do wonders for me. And I like to get my hands on my hips and then just kind of, you can imagine that I'm doing this well into my 80s and 90s. Take these nice and slow. Any sticky points, that's a good opportunity for growth, so that we're just gonna take it nice and slow whenever there's a sticky point instead of rushing through it, which might be our instinctive way to deal with that. And then go ahead and switch sides when you're ready. So make these as big or small as you want to on your day. Some days we just don't have the big moves in us. Some days we wake up with bad hair, which was very much the case on this day for me. And if you want to let your hands loose and let them hang, that can really help get even bigger circles, especially towards the back. So go ahead and try that. Same principle with the knees. I'm going to bring my big toes touching, but my heels are slightly apart, as if I could fit maybe 2-3 thumbs in between my heels, maybe just 2. And then we're going to just bring our knees together and just gently make circles. Make these as small or as big as you feel comfortable. I'm really trying to feel the connection. My intention is really just, how do my knees feel right now? They feel super achy, they're clicking, or they feel smooth as butter. It does not matter. I'm just going to go with it. And I'm going to feel into that. And I'm going to switch sides here. And again, if you want to make these bigger, feel free to come a little bit onto your toes as you draw them bigger and get deeper. But also just feel free to stay in that pretty small motion if that's what you feel today. Your knee doesn't actually rotate in these circles, so take it nice and gentle, but it's a great way to prepare our knee for the eventual or the inevitable missing a step, or, taking a weird step and that kind of stuff. Perfect, nice. And now we're gonna go into these knee raises. I want you to really draw your knee up, and at the apex, at the point of the highest point, it's gonna wanna fall down, and I want you to resist and just pull it a little bit higher up. And I'm really taking my right knee here through the motion, and as I'm up there, I'm really pushing my left foot into the ground. So as I'm trying to create space for my right foot and hip to open, I'm trying to push my left standing foot, firm it into the ground. Nice, go ahead and switch sides. Some mornings we don't feel very balanced, so this is also a great opportunity just to get a little bit of balancing work into our morning. That's always beneficial, so it's a little, 2 birds, 1 stone kind of situation. And for the next move, it's a little move from Tai Chi, just as I'm finishing these. So I want you to find a little bit wider than hip stance, really find a strong position. My knees bent slightly, my hips nice and strong and active. And I'm gonna start to, almost like an elevator, tracing my hands right in front of my body. As they come to the very top, I then reach out to the sides, and really, with the exhale as I'm going down, take a very nice and smooth motion. I come to the bottom, to the pelvis area. This is one big inhale from the pelvis area all the way to the very, very top. That's one inhale. And then exhale, nice and slowly, reaching to the sides. This is all about connecting our motion with the breath. So take it nice and easy, take it nice and slow. I follow my hands with my eyes as they get to the height of my eyes. I then flip them out, reach them up to the sky. That's why this exercise is called inviting the skies, and bringing that beautiful golden sunlight down to the sides, wrapping myself in this beautiful space that I am in right now. So in the next one, I'm going to bring my hands to the heart center, and from here, I'm going to reach out. This is really about reaching out to the side, twisting my upper back. Looking to the very back and then bringing it back to the front, connecting again to the center. I switch sides here, my right arm goes out. This is really a meditative movement. My eyes are focused like a laser only on that right hand as it reaches all the way back. Still focused there, I'm not looking at anything else, and I bring it back, still looking at only my hand, staying at the same horizontal level. It's not really raising or falling down. Take this super nice and slow. Just take it as an opportunity to connect with your breath. Inhaling as I reach back at the very back. I want you to keep your hips facing forward, as well as your back, your lower back, nice and neutral. No arching from the lower back, and your hips don't twist with this motion. They stay forward. And for these next few repetitions, we're just gonna stop the gazing at the hand, and we're just gonna go from the heart center to the end position. Come to heart center. Now my right arm reaches back, my left arm reaches forward. I twist, my hip stays facing forward, my knees are nice and bent, and my stance is strong. Really using this just to open that upper back. So now we're going to go into the same motion, except that we're going to do this passive, and we're going to do this in this lateral arm swing. Just feeling your arms dead weight and starting to swing. Now, keep your knees nice and bent here. My legs are not straight. My hips are staying relatively facing forward, and I'm just trying to get this twisting open from the upper back, really, the mid and upper back. And each time I twist, I look to what's behind me or what's to the side of me. I'm looking, my eyes are staying on the level of the horizon, they're not looking down, and I really just try to find some object, identify it. I'm looking back, I see a leaf. Look to the other side, I see a tree. I look to the back, I see a leaf. I see something else, and that's the way to really make sure that the body follows the eyes and you're not trying to crank anything too harshly. And then we're gonna do the same with these swings, front and back swings. Now these are alternating. My left hand goes forward, my right hand goes back, and vice versa. I'm allowing a little bounce in my knees here just to kind of complement the move here. And as I go to the side, my chest opens to the side. And again, I'm trying to, how light can your hands get is the question that you should be asking yourself right now. If you want to take these nice and slow, do that. If you want to make them big, do so. And as we slow it down, either of these arm swings, do it gradually. Don't just do a full stop, but let them swing out. Next, we're going to come down into a squat. And it's the morning, so just give yourself some time to just find a nice and comfortable squat here. If you need to use or stay on your tiptoes, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, get some books, put them underneath your heels, use that for assistance. That works perfectly fine as well. And then from this position, I'm going to reach forward and really draw a big, big circle to the sides, bringing my palms together in the center, and then I try to get this squat prayer, nice and tall chest. Really, as you're reaching forward, allow that neck to relax, allow that head of ours to just let go for a second. Really reaching as far as you can with your hands, really tracing the floor, really touching the floor, and just making sure that you're really opening up those shoulders, drawing a big circle. Okay, and on our very last one now, we're gonna basically just pause on either end of the position, either while reaching forward or while in the squat prayer, and just wiggle yourself, bounce yourself in, get nice and comfortable here. Do whatever you need to do. Before we move into the very favorite downward dog. So, for all of us stiff boys and stiff girls out there, we're gonna allow ourselves to keep our knees nice and bent here, because the intention is just to get that upper back really nice and reaching through, getting that chest down towards the knees, the belly towards the thighs. And I'm actively doing this, so I'm moving from the downward dog position to this quadruped, to this four-legged position, and then pushing out of that, pushing the ground away from myself and pushing myself back. And I'm looking through my knees, or seeing what's behind me, or at least looking towards my toes, relaxing that neck through. Wiggle yourself in, get comfortable. Nice and big push here. If you want to, start straightening the legs out, trying to get that A-frame. Deep breathing through the nose. Nice. Okay, we're gonna go into a little bit of a wrist routine here, just to make sure our wrists and our fingers are nice and warm for the day. So I'm gonna start just walking them back, and I'm gonna walk them every 5 minutes, basically around the clock, until I reach the very back, where I'm gonna pause, and I'm just gonna allow my hands to just stretch out those forearms. Then I'm gonna go ahead and flip them, and I'm gonna keep the whole backside of my hand on the floor. Make sure you have a nice and smooth surface here, or get a towel or a t-shirt or something. Right, get a t-shirt is what I should have told this guy at the very start of the video. And I'm trying to keep the back of my hand on the floor while I do these around the clock motions. Take it nice and easy. My intention here is to keep my elbows locked out, keep them straight, but that can be quite intense at the start, so take it easy on yourself. And when you're ready, I'm gonna go into these fist push-ups. So to the very back of the hand, I'm allowing myself to fold here, and then from there, I'm rolling along the back of my hand, not lifting it, rolling it along, pushing into my knuckles. Again, the further you lean forward into your shoulders and in your arms, the heavier this is going to be on your wrists, so the more difficult, and the more weight you take into your hips, knees, all of these exercises are going to be easier for the wrists. Next, I'm going to go into finger push-ups. So I'm pushing up onto my fingers, keeping the whole length from the backside of my knuckle, where the palm connects to the fingers, to the very tips of my fingers, keeping those on the floor, just pushing through here. This can be very intense as well, so just take it nice and easy. Talking about intense, we're gonna move into the next position, fans' favorite, which is sitting on toes. If you, by the way, need to get a pillow to put between your butt and your heels, do so, that's perfectly fine. And I promise doing this for just a little bit of time will get you very far. Into this power pose, heart opener, opening my heart here, taking nice and deep breaths, and we're almost done here. Nice, connecting to the breath here. I'm just opening up, and then I'm gonna get up here, and the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna shake everything out. I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna let loose here. Anything that wants to move in my body, anything that wants to move in your limbs, in your legs, in your hips, in your butt, shaking is a great way to just relax, to connect to ourselves, and to get that inner child in us nice and awake for the day. Especially in the office, you need the inner child. And I'm allowed the shake to get as intense as I want to, however comfortable I feel. I'm out here in the wilderness, so I'm very comfortable to let it get quite intense. Relax your jaw as well. Any do that. That's perfectly fine. And I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to guide us all through this beautiful morning movement. I hope you feel energized. It was lovely getting to meet you, or to meet you in the future. Ciao!